Hello, this is Edwin back again with the Pathmakers podcast. I'm so glad to have you here. I'm really excited for this guest today, Alberto from Italy, who is really awesome in the content writing space. I'm really excited to have you here, Alberto.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, so for people, could you just give a little introduction for people who maybe don't know much about you?
Yeah, I live in northeastern Italy, about 1 hour drive from Venice, and I am. I thought I, I wanted to become a researcher in computer science after I graduated from university. So I started a PhD, and I learned I didn't I hated the environment, and find out the 4 hour work week by Tim Ferriss. It was 2010, I think, or 2009. And through more research, I found out about blogging and info products, guides, PDFs. And I started a photography site in Italian, which went well because it ranked very high for the most important keywords in the niche, and so I started selling affiliate products and guides. I started translating guides from English or partnering with other photographers, and then I knew a guy who was starting a podcast interviewing digital entrepreneurs in Italy, which are a rarity. And so I joined him, and we still have together this business where we help professionals, but also um, uh, normally traditionally employed people to start or grow their online businesses. And a couple of years ago, I decided to start publishing in English because I was thinking about it. Uh, uh, I spent years thinking about it, and since the Italian market, at least in our niche, is very limited, I said, okay, let's try with the English market. I like the English, the American mindset far more than the Italian mindset.
Okay.
Obviously, there are many more people talking English all around the world than Italians. There are 60 million people speaking Italian in the entire world.
Oh
So
wow.
the potential is not even comparable. And yeah, here I am. I started publishing in English. I started publishing on Medium and on X, just a couple of months ago, and I'm still trying to refine my niche while I keep working about half of the time on the Italian business. There we sell courses, coaching, and a bit of consulting.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that was a lot there. That was wow. That it seems like you've gone through like a bunch of different phases. And one thing I want to
Yeah,
touch on, like, you know, Italian, what is that Italian mindset for people who don't know? Like, I don't even know what it is. For context, I'm American, so I only know
yeah.
like, I feel like America's very nationalist in that, Americans think that America is just the world and that's it. So, coming
Mm.
from like that mindset, I guess like if you could explain what is the Italian mindset or how is that different from like,
Uh,
Americans?
yeah, there are many aspects. Um, I'm working with my clients, my followers are entrepreneurs or professionals or aspiring digital entrepreneurs. And uh, what I don't like is the mindset related to entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
Sorry, there's my son who should be sleeping now. Because they are very, very risk averse, and they are constantly looking for the shortcut.
Mm.
Uh, it happens everywhere, but in Italy, it's far more evident, far more present, and uh, risk aversion is the most important problem, because they just don't want to spend or to take time for the launching a business, for example. Um, and also, making money in Italy is not seen as a good thing. People are jealous of the ones who make it, and make when you see the average Italian, not every Italian, but the average Italian, when he sees someone who became wealthy, thinks that there must be some kind of trick. It's not
Mm.
for his merits,
Mm.
and I really don't like this. I see that the US is more about the self-made man and business and so on, and not only the US. Several other countries are far better than Italy in this area.
Okay. I guess I never really took that into consideration. You know, what, like, do you think maybe entrepreneurship is harder in Italy? Like, maybe you touched on that a little bit, but would you
Yeah,
say,
yeah, for
okay.
sure. One thing is that Italy is not a wealthy country. The disposable income is very low, so people are the majority of people are have problems. Uh, don't have a hard time putting together enough money, for example, to invest in a business or to stop working for a year while they build the business. Then taxes are very high,
Mm.
and in Italy is very bureaucratic. You have lots of documents to sign every time you need to move a finger, and so yeah, everything is very very difficult.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's really insightful. At least, you know, someone, at least I feel like to a lot of Americans, as I mentioned before, we don't have much concept what happens outside of America, which is probably not a great thing. You know, I think there's a lot to be learned from other cultures as well, and you know, that's something I'm like been pretty interested about in learning. Uh, One thing I do
Yeah.
want to touch up on,
Sorry, one
like,
moment.
oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Leonardo, vai su, non puoi saltare. Se vuoi puoi stare seduto qui, ma non puoi saltare. Okay, sorry. It should be with my wife, but I don't know where my wife is now.
Oh, no worries. One thing I want to touch on, you know, I guess this like 10 years ago, like masters or PhD in CS, like that is not an easy thing to achieve. And then
Yeah.
switch to writing. Like, I know you switched to something else. I guess, what did you decide after reading the 4 Hour Work Week what to go to? Because it's like a lot of entrepreneurship is infinite, basically. Like, how did you decide to kind of hone in
Yeah.
on, you know, what you're going to do after?
The uh, reading the 4 Hour Work Week was a revelation for so many people. The first life changing concept was the lifestyle design, as everyone knows. That was a term that was coined by Tim Ferriss. Basically, thinking that you should choose your job or your profession. Uh, you should first design your lifestyle, then choose a profession that serves that plan. This was very new for me, and the other thing was the leverage you can have on online. It was
Right.
very. It was he wrote that in 2007, so it was a Jurassic, but through content and Google Ads, he was able to build a business all by himself. I never knew that was possible. So it opened a new world for me. Uh, but Yeah, fortunately, I was getting into photography at the time, and I was used to search for information and tutorials in English because the Italian web was very poor. The offer was very poor. There was no sharing and teaching and learning culture. So you had a couple of, for example, about photography, talking about photography, you had a couple of blogs talking about photography, but they were academic. They were heavy.
Mm, I
No,
see.
the content was not simple and well structured and friendly and informal. Um, while on the other side, there was this site that I think still exists. It's called Digital Photography School, and I was reading that to learn photography. But I was also seeing that they were selling PDFs, ebooks with photography techniques, and so I started from how can I make money without from home, for example. It was one thing I was searching that time because I was already working with my PC. I did not like the people in my office. So I was thinking, why do we have to commute every day and still sit in front of a computer all day long? So I started from that. I found the 4 hour work week, and then I found they called it professional blogging at the time. It was to differentiate it from personal blogging, where people shared their lives and their thoughts. Professional blogging was people teaching online and selling their knowledge through ebooks. Video courses were not, were not well known at the time, and so I knew I was able to teach, and I liked to teach, and I saw blogging as the perfect medium because I could teach in my tutorials, attract an audience, and then sell affiliate products and my own products, and it worked because the competition was weak. Reading from the American blogs, I learned about SEO, email marketing, affiliate marketing, and I
Mm.
could put everything together in the Italian language. And so I quickly ranked. I reached 300,000 page views per month at the
Oh
peak,
my God.
which in Italy is very high, is a large. Then at a certain point, Instagram and YouTube started stealing audience
Yeah.
from blogs because, well, photography is stronger when you can see.
Yeah, we can see
Uh,
it. Right.
yeah.
Okay. That I mean that's really impressive. Like that's like mind blowing. 300,000 like page views. That's a lot. And like at least for me, like I think that's a lot. I mean, others may disagree, but I think that's really impressive. One thing I'm
Thank you.
really curious about. Oh, sorry.
No, no, thank you. Yeah.
Like one thing I'm curious about. So like you started in Italian and now you're trying to kind of pivot towards English. If you were to start like back, I guess like a while ago, like when you started, would you have started from English at the get go, or would you still have done Italian and then pivot?
I think it was on the back of my mind because in the back of my mind because during my PhD I had to write scientific papers in English. I had to present in English, and I knew that my English was better than my colleagues. For example, Italians are very bad at speaking and writing and reading English. It's terrible. But yeah, I had just those 3 years of experience. I wrote a bunch of papers. I didn't write every day in English. So yeah, when I saw how poor the competition was, I knew I had a chance, and so I started in Italian, which allowed me to be faster to write my articles, because now I have far more practice, but still it takes me longer to write an article in English than in Italian.
Oh, I see. Question. I mean, I am bilingual as well in Spanish, but I'm kind of
Mm.
curious. Is it so? It seems like you write when you write stuff in English, you write it in English, and that's that. Have you? I mean, you've probably played around with this, I'm sure, but is it faster to maybe write in Italian and then translate that to English, or is the it does not work like that?
I didn't try it, but I think it would slow me down, because they say that you uh, you become fluent when you start thinking
Hmm.
in the language, in the second language. So I try to do that, and sometimes, yeah, sometimes I manage to think in English, at least maybe a sentence here and there, and this makes me more faster to. For example, when I reply on X, since the posts are shorter, it I manage to think in English, and and this makes me faster. So I try to aim to avoid Italian and think in English.
Okay. You're trying to like really, I guess you could mention like pivot and like rebrand as an English content teacher as well. Uh, by the way, I just want to shout out like your unstoppable creator system. Like that is like what made you decide to put that together and not charge for it? Because like I feel like you should be charging something for it.
Yeah, they say that you should give that should create lead magnets that could easily be paid products to attract more people. And I just launched it, and I really need to grow my email list. So I wanted to knock it out of the park. For now, I have to do a better job promoting it, because simply there's not enough people that saw it. And maybe I could put a price on it in the future, but I want, for example, to gather a few um, reviews, no, ratings on Gumroad, for example. So maybe if I decide to sell it, I have maybe, I don't know, 10 reviews, 10 sorry, there are only ratings, I think, on Gumroad, and maybe collect some testimonial. I just want to see how people react to it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that is definitely true. Like I can be a testimony for that right now. Like I thought, like so far I'm on email two. Like this is it's really insightful into thinking like how to make time for content every day and be consistent with it was like one of the things I kind of like learned. And I guess I'm very not consistent with my content. So like
Yeah.
I guess like, do you have like any other tips on like the top of your mind as someone's been doing this for like years that you could give to other people like in terms of content, right? Like how do you progress? I guess even tips for me, how do I go from zero, like written maybe like one newsletter and that's it, to like thinking about, oh my God, how am I going to keep up this weekly newsletter forever?
Well, the forever part is an interesting question, because uh, I think it comes down to your why. It seems right, but uh, if the problem is if the problem is how can I come up with enough ideas to write forever, it's not a problem really, because after you start after you become consistent and start receiving feedback from your audience, and start uh, um, leaving your content business, or just your content creation career, even if it's not yet a business, uh, once it's your life, you see ideas everywhere. So ideas are not a problem. If you talk about motivation, so how do you find the motivation to go on forever? I think, yeah, in that case, it comes to your why. For me, there are at least no, I think three reasons. One is that I really love creating content. So if I could do it forever, I would do it forever. Uh, Second, I don't want to be employed, and having a content business is my way to conceive a business. And then, yeah, I like to teach, and I like to know that people learn. So, in a way, it's my way to leave something to the world. It sounds grandiose, but in a way, a while ago, I read that uh, we creating content is a way to become immortal. It's something that people will remember. It's our fear to die without leaving a trace on the world that pushes us to publish, to get noticed, to build an audience online. And maybe in part it's that.
Well, I guess I never thought about that. For reference, I'm 22 years old, so thinking about
Ah, yeah, wow.
my legacy is a bit far in the future, right? But I think that is a good thing to think about. What I guess this might be like somewhat philosophical or deep. Like what really happens after we pass away. Like
Yeah.
I mean we might be buried or in the ground or whatnot, but then after it's there's not a whole lot, I guess. I mean, maybe the structures you built in your life or art you put out or content, I guess, to your point. Like actually I'm thinking like, well, your Gumroad products, meeting, your writing on X, that lives in a database somewhere, which will probably continue for who knows how long. It's like
Yeah.
no one really knows how long any of this stuff is
No.
going to last, which is scary to think about, but it's also it has the potential to, I guess, outlive its own creator in a sense,
Yeah.
which is kind of it's a weird feeling, actually.
Yeah.
Like, huh? But
But
I guess
but it's motivating. Not it's not a fear. It's a source of fear. It's motivating for me to leave something. When people leave a comment, I have an article on Medium about my yoga practice and the benefits I got from it, and I had some comments on that article that said they were motivated to start a yoga practice or restart a yoga practice after reading the article. It's a small thing, but feeling that you influenced the life of a person, for me, it's the greatest satisfaction.
I mean that's something that I'm starting to realize myself is you know I don't have a great like super big audience, but just seeing like people react and it's like wait this thing that kind of threw out into the void, that's what it feels like sometimes. You kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
like create something, whether it's like a video, whether it's a piece of writing, just something. You kind of like publish it. It's like almost throwing it out into the void and kind of like rolling the dice and seeing what if it sticks or not. Is it going to be a jackpot? Is it going to be like nothing? But seeing some sort of feedback come back is just like really awesome in a sense of seeing like okay, this many people like interacted with this and like all this work isn't for nothing.
Absolutely, yeah.
But with that, I do want to pivot one last time. So like, there's like the unstoppable creator system, right? But then I noticed like some other things you have. Like you have like a page on like Coach Me and some other stuff. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? What's going on there?
About Coach Me in particular.
Uh, I just pulled that up, but if you have something else you were thinking of too, that's fine.
No, CoachMe is a platform for chat coaching. It's very interesting because it's an unusual way to coach people. Clients can uh, pay a smaller sum compared to traditional coaching with calls, live calls. So I got certified there as an habit coach. I like the chat coaching format so much so that I offer it in Italian. We have a few clients, um, recurring clients. We give which pay who pay for chat coaching, and but unfortunately the platform is not good at bringing clients, and they are going through some restructuring. They didn't give us all the details yet, so I'd like to have people, have clients there because it's an inexpensive way to get coached, and it's great because I can prompt the clients every day through the chat with small tasks to do or just reminders. It can work very well, but it's not that well known. That is Coach.me. I thought it could be a low price entry point for my clients, but for now they weren't convinced by that. I tried several things. I started on Medium. I started writing on Medium when I started writing in English because I'm used to create long form content, and it it it's a good platform to get organic traffic without waiting SEO to kick in, because there are some social dynamics. There is an algorithmic feed on medium.com. And so I started there. It started well, but this year they changed everything. And about the algorithm and the way you get noticed on the platform. So I lost a lot of traffic in the summer. I was curious about X, and I tried, and so I started publishing on X because you can publish shorter content, do experiments. But as far as I know, now there's a low in reach in
Yeah.
on X. Everyone is complaining about decreasing views, decreasing engagement. But yeah, I'm still experimenting. It's just 2 months, so I can't say if it works. These are the two platforms I'm active on. I also launched another free email course about growing on Medium, but I'm not promoting it on X to not create confusion between the
Oh,
two
okay.
email courses. And the challenge for me is now to decide about the niche, because my strength is to bring things together, to have an holistic view about business content, self-improvement, and help people. I already help people work on their content through changes in their habits, in their mindset. So my strength is putting everything together, but it's very hard to find a clear way, a concise way to convey this strength and attract people because of this. So I end up talking about too many topics in my posts, and I think this is not this is confusing, a bit confusing for new followers. They don't know what I'm focusing on, and
Hmm.
so this is the stage I'm at now.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Like one thing, at least on X, I speak for X. Like just being as kind of like what's happening there. It seems like people who are big, they're big on like one thing. Like if you think of like Mark Liu, which is like yeah, I think he's like a solopreneur. Like he builds SaaS. Like when I think of him, I think of
Mm.
only doing like SaaS products. Or like there's some other people who like the cold email wizard.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is pretty so like he just cold email. I don't think of him as anything else besides that. So I think like I mean he does do other things, but like that's his like main like pillar is like cold email wizard, right? And I think there I'm not an expert, but I think there is something to be said like well maybe being kind of niching down into like one thing so that when people go or see it's like oh this is the cold email expert, this is what this guy does, and that's what I know this guy for. I'm not necessarily saying you should do that or what, but that's just something at least I've noticed where people tend to do like one thing, like be like very good,
Hmm.
or at least promote themselves as that one thing.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, I know it works. It's not. I I the I don't like the idea of uh, boxing myself into a tight box. But maybe I'm realizing that maybe I can start from a more specific and small and smaller niche, but knowing that in the future I can expand, or that I can talk 80% of the time about one specific thing and keep the door open for other topics once in a while. I'm leaning into this direction.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the direction I'm trying to lean in towards too, because like I don't want to talk about one thing all the time, right? Because that gets
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
boring after a while. But of course, start somewhere. At least for me, it's just thinking of like, okay, I'll start with this thing, but I'll still definitely talk about other things, right, in my life that maybe people who follow me will be interested in as well. Um, but yeah, with that, we're almost at time, maybe a little bit past that. If one last thing that I have for people who want to basically get into content writing and make writing a big portion maybe of their business, of their creator journey, like what tips do you have for them?
If they are just starting, it's easier because the tips are always the same. They sound cliche, but it's because they are true. Uh, the first thing is to choose to choose to write about something that's interesting for you, because you may be tempted to talk about AI or some other trendy topic, which may work, but if it's not something you would do in your spare time, independently of your content creation activity, you can't survive because in the beginning everything is hard. Maybe you just have to learn how to write or how to talk or how to create content in general, and this is the first challenge. But then you have to learn the platform. X is not like LinkedIn, is not like Instagram. You have to learn what to do to grow. And you have to do things maybe you don't like. For example, engaging constantly with people until you get beyond a certain threshold of followers. And, uh, and results are always slower than you think. There are some outliers that grow very quickly, but it's not the norm. So you have to, all these challenges, you have to be extremely patient. If you uh, choose a topic you don't like, you don't love, you can't go on. And so first choose a topic you like, and you spend time on, regardless of your content, of your content creation. And this is the first thing. And the second is uh, work on your content every day, at least 15 minutes, just 15 minutes for ideation, coming up with ideas about what to write. Because if you are not a full-time content creator, obviously you don't have the time to do it. But just uh, block at least 15 minutes, because the more you do something, the more you become that thing. If you spend time on your content every day, at least for a bit of time, in your head you are you slowly become a content creator. In that time, you can ideate, outline, write, review. Obviously, as soon as possible, start publishing and publish as much as you can, because you need the training in the beginning.
Right. I mean that like stuff is definitely stuff like at least me personally like am taking to heart like right now. Like thinking about every single day. I have not been a very good about that, and I think some people like myself also struggle with that. So that's like really insightful coming from someone who's like much more experienced at this. Um, but with that, we are just past like 30 minutes. So, last thing, where can people go to find you best if they want to reach out to you?
I think for now the best place is X. My DMs are open, so you can also DM me whenever you want. Unfortunately, I have a very long name, and I am trying to use it as my profile name. I may have chosen a hard handle. You can look for my name. I'm the only Alberto Cabas Vidani.
Yeah, yeah,
uh, or I think you can put a link somewhere
yeah.
to my
I'll drop all
profile.
your links down below,
Yeah,
and
yeah, okay.
have direct links to all of these so people can find you. But yeah, yeah, you're the only one that pops up when I search for it,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
which is a good thing. But yeah, I mean that's all the time we have for today. I mean, I would love for you to come back on again. I think you have a
Hmm.
lot to share. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time with you.
Yeah, it was great. Thank you.
Okay. Well, with that, that wraps up this episode with Alberto. And I'll see you next time for the next episode of the Pathmakers podcast. Thank you.